Yeah, we have Dan, who's calling from Austin.
Another Dan?
Hello?
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, you guys are real quiet, but how you doing?
We'll try to be louder, but we have no control over the technical stuff from here.
Well, that's all right. I'll just listen really hard.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. I got proof of God.
You do?
But
oh, goody.
It's not proof that I can give to you, but I can tell you exactly how to prove it to yourself. Okay?
Uh-huh.
All right. First, kill yourself, and then you'll go to hell, and then you'll be like, "Oh, there's a God." But not that you should kill yourself, because then you would obviously go to hell. But if you were to do that,
I think the whole point of the question is to find out, beforehand, so we can make a smart decision. It's kind of too late.
Unfortunately, the Bible is the only way to know that, and since you refuse to listen to the words of God, and
the Bible's not a way to know that. That's the thing.
Yeah,
that was just a book.
It says right in it.
The Lord of the Rings says right in it that there's, Sauron who lives in the land of Mordor.
How long ago was Lord of the Rings written?
Okay, the Iliad says that there's sirens living on an island that captured Odysseus. That was written.
Was that written before the Bible?
Yes, it was.
Yes, sir.
Before the Old Testament?
Oh, yes, sir.
There was nothing written before the Old Testament. In the beginning, there was the Word.
Wow. I'm afraid you're
not
incorrect.
Not the Old Testament,
I'm
the
afraid
Word
you're
of God.
incorrect. There's way older religions even than Judaism.
But in the beginning, there was always the Word.
Yeah,
I know that.
Dude, if you're just gonna take the Bible's word for it that it's the first book, you're gonna miss the fact that it's not. And there's nothing we can really do about that. It's up to you to pay attention to what's actually going on.
Well, how can you demonstrate to me that it's not the Word?
Do 5 minutes of research on the internet.
Yeah, China has some.
Right. How do I research
China
that?
developed.
What should I do?
We're not going to be able to explain step by step. There's these things called search engines, and they like Google. They let you type in words, and it'll give you links to pages where it talks about things using those words, and you try to find what words you're looking for. Huh?
What words should I type into the
You
Google?
could start typing religions older than Judaism.
Yeah. Figure it out, man.
Google is actually pretty smart about
Use your brain. You're an evolved being. You should be able to figure it out.
I'm not an evolved being, and I don't appreciate you calling me a monkey either. I think that's offensive.
I don't believe I did call you a monkey, sir. I believe I called you an evolved being. I may have called you great. I'd have to go back several 100,000 generations.
Oh, look, there it is. Our special guide.
There's a little guide to look up on Google.
You're saying that there was a guy in my family history that was a monkey.
Well, except I wouldn't call him a guy at that point on account of he was a monkey.
But it was
He would have been a male monkey.
He was a monkey and he gave birth to something that wasn't a monkey. Is that what you're saying?
No. See, evolution happens gradually, and so sounds like you've got your work cut out for you, educating yourself on what's actually going on. Thanks very much for your call, Dan.
Okay, nice talking to you, Dan. Are we done?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right. It looks like Dan has called back, and he's used the Google and discovered that there is some proof that God exists.
Okay.
On Google, no less. Who would have thought that? Dan?
Yeah, I thought that I would apply your guys the same idea to you that you said to me.
Yeah.
Because I Googled proof of God because that's more interesting than the lies on the atheist website.
Yes.
And I, by the way, I don't appreciate being hung up on when I'm trying to have a conversation with you. It's very dishonest of you. I know it. And I want to say,
do a show here and, give everybody a chance to talk. Go on.
Well, I wanted to say that the evidence that I found is that according to allaboutcreation.org, the E. coli bacterial flagellum is irreducibly complex. Do you know what that means?
It means that website is perpetuating a falsehood that was addressed
invented by Michael Behe and dealt with in the Kitzmiller versus Dover case, which basically laughed Behe out of court, almost.
Yeah, conspiracy theory by the Christians, right?
But
Help, there's proof of God on my head.
I don't know about conspiracy theory. I don't think I'd take it that far, but there are people who are spinning this nonsense that the bacterial flagellum could not have evolved, and they used that as an argument why it ought to be okay to teach creationism in public schools. Trying to say that that's evidence of creationism, and that argument was trotted out in the Dover, Pennsylvania evolution trial. Kitzmiller versus...
Yeah, right. That was in 2005?
And the creationists that trotted that out got laughed out of court.
Yeah, basically Michael Behe went up in front of the judge and he said there has been no papers written on the topic of how the flagellum could have evolved, at which point the opposing lawyer in a bit of courtroom theater walked in with this giant stack of like 20-something books and dropped it on the table in front of Behe and said, "Have you read these by any chance?" And Behe said, "No, I haven't gotten around to them." Yeah.
When was that?
2005, Kitzmiller versus Dover, Kitzmiller.
If that was that long ago, and they already proved that it wasn't right, then why would allaboutcreation.org have that still on their main page?
What a softball question! Because the people who run creation, what was it? Allaboutcreation.org are idiots who don't care about the truth. Is why.
You're just saying that because you disagree, and if anyone
disagrees with you, we're not just
an idiot.
Dan, we're not just saying it because we disagree. We're saying it because that argument has been proved to be false, but there it is on that website. Now, I guess it's also possible they're simply not maintaining the site. It might be that they're not fools or liars. It could be that they just, ran out of money or lost interest and they're not maintaining their site and it's old information that hasn't been updated. That's possible.
Well,
you do find sometimes... I'm sorry?
The site was updated, in 2009 the site was updated, so...
Oh, okay. Fools or liars then. I'm sorry. That is just an inescapable consequence of having a disproved claim still on their website.
Well, there's
not
more
just
than that on
disagree.
there. There's intelligent design, there's proofs from nature and stuff. Maybe you should Google proof that there's a God, and then you should come back tomorrow and be like, sorry, I was wrong.
Well, we won't be on the air tomorrow, but if you would like to call back next week...
We are the guys who have known how to Google all along, and we've been all over more arguments for God's existence and for the proof of creationism and everything else that you could possibly imagine. I've been at this for over 10 years, dude, and I'm just telling you,
I've seen a couple of years after you. Right?
I've seen squillions of different arguments for God, and they all fall down. I've looked seriously. I don't mind believing in a God if there's evidence that there is one, but there's not.
Go around sinning all the time.
I'm sorry?
You do have a problem with believing in God, because if there's a God, then you can't go around sinning all the time and just feel just fine about it.
That would be fine.
Is that what you would do if you didn't think there was a God? Is that the kind of
if we didn't have to sin, then I just go around and do whatever I want, gamble and curse and and whatever else I want.
So you don't care about the actual consequences of your actions in the real world? You're the only reason you don't do bad things. Hey, caller, the only reason you don't do bad things is because of God? Is that really true?
That's right. Then the universe will eventually wind down to a heat death, and that means that nothing I will have ever done will ever matter, and I can just do whatever I want because nothing will matter at the point of the end of the universe.
And what you really want to do is a bunch of bad things?
Bad things that make me feel good. I don't care about if nobody else matters, and I don't care about what makes them feel good.
So nobody else matters to you.
If nobody else matters,
No, to you.
We're out of time. You're going to have to call back next week. In the meantime, I've been forgetting to plug this, but...